It's been recorded. I started, always forget. I keep meaning to click the record button, but when I start talking, I tend to forget. Okay. Oh yeah, good morning. I'm on chat. Okay, so that's it. And this is also another a slide from a, I think you know Prof. Arce Tambi, and he's doing this professional development talk for a PhD student, and basically this is what chapter 2 and I know entails. You know, see here the variable, again the variable and the variable. Okay, all about variable, and from the theory to something, you know, who's actually doing study, you know, related studies, and then the interesting aspect, or you know, a gap, or way to move forward. So these are the elements. So here, literature review is actually, it's not about lecturing. It's about how you do it based on your own study. It's always personalized, but there's always some general guidelines and also, you know, or strategies on how to do. So we just want to go through quite fast, I think, for this slide. Slide, but just the most important thing is actually the synthesis of literature review. What do you get overall? Sometimes we do a lot of readings. We try to summarize them based on the requirement here, introduction, definitions and stuff. At the end, we forget what we read. What actually the overall thing, that how this literature informs your own research. Okay. So the synthesis. And yeah, this is why I had the reason why it's actually, you know, moving. I don't know whether you can see it move. Depends on your internet connection. But now the theoretical framework kind of move from up there to down there, because it might be here in chapter 2, or yeah, in our practice it's in chapter 1. But again, our chapter 2 is based on this, basically theoretical and our conceptual frameworks. And I ask you in the Google form just to see that how you can really compare or find the, you know, what's different, what is the similarities. Okay, we talked a lot about theories last week, so you know, we'll recap a little bit, but you know, and the variables, how things are related. So that's conceptual frameworks. Okay, we'll see, we'll try to just integrate them now in chapter 2, how things work. So the bigger picture is you do it because of many reasons. Here I like to have the highlighter or something so that you know, you will not, you know, lose track when I'm talking, and if it's taking too long and the explanation is it's a boring one, so it helps. Okay, the reasons you want to know what's going on is always like read and read. Keep on reading, but keep on reading purposefully. Okay, and that's the reason why I'm asking you to do your assignment 1, reading list. You have to do it. That's actually, you are conducting your literature review. Doing the housing thing and, you know, searching things on Google Scholar, those are actually, you are actually conducting your literature review. You literature search, and when you read it, you summarize them meaningfully, you try to integrate them, or, you know, classify them. That's when you're actually reviewing your literature. And when you are actually doing this for your assignment 2 especially, that's actually, you are reviewing the whole thing from chapter 1 to chapter 3. Those are actually literature review, but based on each chapter. You're looking at how people write chapter 1, not chapter 1, element of chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. Okay, so how things are in terms of their problem statement. So that's when it fits in chapter 1. And then how they actually write, you know, their literature review. Do they have to spell it literature review in each article? Some article might, some article might not. Some article may just go straight forward, straight to the point. Okay, and then chapter 3, even how do they write the sample and stuff. So that's actually, you are doing again another literature review, but you are doing this time in terms of, you are reviewing it in terms of to see, to compare these articles, the way they write this stuff. Okay, so here, demonstrate familiarity with the body of knowledge, because you want to see, okay, what topic you want to do. PLC, motivation, leadership, okay, competency, okay, assessment, civic engagement, okay, establish credibility, okay, because as you read, then you know you can be somehow people know, okay, she reads, that's good, you know. So when you claim that lack of research have been done or lack empirical research, who, you know, so how many is research at least, you know, so far, you know, at least in Malaysia is nobody is doing it, but in abroad plenty. So in Malaysia not so far, because I've been searching in all the credible database, not many using this keyword and keyword, nothing pops up. Then you can see yes, lack or free from empirical scrutiny. Okay, you remember the gap signal, the one that we said, how to mention gap, or lack of studies, scarce studies has not remained incomplete. The studies on this topic remains incomplete. Okay, so those are the gap signals. Okay, to show the path of prior research. So previously, what did people do, and now how should we go with it? Okay, do we need to, you know, to add more variables, or do we need to do a different methodology? Okay, so you will see how people progress. Last time people use, you know, only interviews. Now people use both, or now people omit observation because EPRD doesn't allow observation. So all those kind of things, you know. Integrate and summarize. Okay, summarize, easy to do. Integrate, that's a challenge. Okay, but here is an integrate and summarize. So you integrate, it says integrate and summarize, not summarize and integrate. It could be both, it could be the other way around too. But what we really hope for, especially for PhD level or master by research, we want to have like, you want to integrate first, then summarize based on what you finally integrate. For example, Gita, Neela, Pova, 2020, and Om, Nalini, 2021, found similarities in terms of leadership pattern, for example. Okay, and what is it? What are these two studies from six different six scholars conducting two different studies say? Okay, some people don't like it because they said that, okay, how can you integrate two different studies? But that's the synthesis that you want to find. Okay, two different studies, but they find actually the same thing. Or one's find different, this one find another thing. So mixed findings also interesting. Okay, could be in terms of similarities or something that is, you know, studies are not, scholars don't agree upon. Okay, to learn from others and stimulate new ideas, improve methodology. That's why when they say that, okay, educational leadership only quantitative, I'm sorry, I have to, you know, disagree, because you are doing something, you add something. If, you know, even though it's been done quantitatively, it's not impossible to do qualitatively or mixed method. So, but it just sometimes it's about, you know, comfort, is about expertise, but it's always, you always can find second supervisor. That's what normally the practice is. If one supervisor couldn't assist, that's why the second supervisors fits in. Okay, to broaden knowledge. That's why. What else? Okay, and these are all the procedure, you know, in a way you did that through harsing, how you find it. You use keywords, you use software or computer software, computer apps, and you use databases. You know, you can go to the library, or nowadays, you know, everything is digital, and we should move towards digital. And I show Sci-Hub. Some people say that's illegal, you know, it's a matter of debate. So how you do things, and it has to be systematic. Okay, and there's another term, we call it systematic literature review, and that's, you know, that's by itself, when you conduct that systematic literature review, you can publish a paper from it, just conducting a literature review. Okay, and I think I shared those from SQS. Did I share with you? Oh, I don't think so. But that's it's gonna be but you have to pay for that. So just check on the ProQuest, the one that the library one, that one is free. There's another one by SQS, School of Quantitative Science. One professor, she's conducting on how to do literature review, and that's, you have to pay 120 for 9 to 5 session. It's a day session. Okay, and based on this, you can either develop or you can actually integrate all the theories, you know, in order to find your own framework. And yeah, develop your conceptual framework. This one again, Usually we highlight it in chapter 1, but the process comes from chapter 2. Okay, and then of course you write up. Oh, there you go. So what does it mean when I say literature review is the backbone of research? Again, this is I just echo whatever I'm saying earlier, because whatever we start with, theoretical framework and conceptual framework, they start from the search, from the literature review. You want to know what's current, what is important, okay, what is the contribution, and what's being done, and how people do this methodologically. Okay, whether it's like what paradigm people use. People have been thinking, okay, about post-positivism all the time. No more social perspectives. But unfortunately, we are doing social science. How can we just only focus on one paradigm, for example? So the methodology contributions, okay? If it's like regression, okay. And then what else after regression? Maybe structured equation modeling, okay, more advanced statistical concepts, okay? If you are doing, you know, correlation and descriptive, I think those are okay, but they said that those are actually cannot inform methodological contributions. They can, if you put it, you know, one part of it, if you like describe and describe satisfaction, describe disagreement, you know, but you want to see what else matter, okay? And it's secondary sources because it's from the studies being published, the books being written, okay? They do not report new or original experimental work. The original and experimental work is actually your research, your own study, okay? So here it says journals, most in academic journals. And I want to add academic journals with a quality one. Now you see a lot of, or plenty of academic journals out there. And now if you are also, you know, aware of what's happening in the at the university level, people talk about predatory, you know, or blacklisted journal, because people make money from those. You know, you can just do any pitchisan or very, you know, very poor quality of writing and you can get published, but you have to pay. You have to pay $1,000 or you have to pay more, you know, and they can publish anything under the sky. Basically, it's a trash can. Okay, so you just have to be very careful about that. You want to look at the quality, and that's why I always say go to Scopus, because at some point, you know, regardless of the criticism they receive, they maintain. If they think that that journal is predatory and Scopus index, they would, you know, every month, every year, they will, you know, delist the journal. Okay. Here, why we conduct literature? We know that again, but this is what Hart summarized. You know, you want to see what's being done, what needs to be done. You want to discover what is important and how people term that important. Do people refer to online distance learning or remote learning? Do people, you know, talk about transformational leadership or still talk about what type of leadership available? Autocratic leadership, okay, or sustainable leadership. Sustainable leadership, I think there's one, right? Or people are moving towards instructional leadership now. Top management needs to also be role model in terms of instruction. So they have to teach, for example. I think Madam, who's doing instructional leadership? I know one of you, right? Instructional leadership. Transformational, Madam Pramila, Madam Puva. Anybody? Can you remind me? Somebody is doing instructional leadership, or maybe did you change your topic already? Because the common theme here, I see transformational leadership. Maybe in your leadership class or theory class, you know, that's what in nowadays people talk about transformation. Okay, and in school we talk about transformation too, right? Standard Guru Cemerlang, Standard Guru Malaysia, whatsoever, and it's under TS 25 if I'm not mistaken. So all the transformational thing is actually in school. selaras or align with the policy. Just a second, I'm going to bring water. Check out number 11. Placing the research in a historical context to show familiarity. I mean, sometimes, you have to share in terms of what happened before and the chronology. So history. Dulu macam mana? Now, previously, how was it? And then now we move. And then now, same IR2, IR3, IR4, like that. Okay. So if you are talking something about that needs to be told historically, you have to make that how things are before, how things were, and now how are we going to move forward. Okay, this one is a Newman. Where is that? Okay, Newman. You have this textbook, and there are 6 types according to Newman. You have context review, historical review, integrative review, methodological review, self-study review, and theoretical review. And then I think all of this are important, in your literature. Okay, but methodological review, usually we talk about maybe chapter 3. How many did quantitative on this topic? Okay, theoretical review, usually this is in chapter 1 or 2, depending on what we say, right? So maybe a review in terms of overall, briefly, okay, this is what the theory and the combination of theories and how you inform in chapter 1. And then you explain these different theories, how it inform one that integrated theory in chapter 2, and then how things integrated in detail in chapter 2. So it could be there, theoretical review. Okay, several theories or concepts focus on the same topic, not everything under the sky. This is always like this. You got excited, we got excited. I used to be like that too. I share, yeah, it's okay for the learning process, but then later take a step back. Which one is the most suitable? And is it the only one? Okay, are there any other theories related to it that you can inform your research, that can be related to your conceptual framework in the studies. Consistency. Okay, and you have to explain why things are integrated, why theory A and B marry into theory C. Okay, integrative review, summarize the current state of knowledge. Okay, this is like I said, integrate and summary. Integrate and summarize. Okay, so you integrate and then tell why they are integrated. Historical just now. Previously Suggestopedia or audiolingual method, how to teach English, and then now we move to task-based, or now we move to CFR. Okay, so I'm blabbering here, but that's the sequence of how things are. Okay, previously language, we've seen it as 1. Now we want to be communicative, integrated. Okay, productive, receptive skills. Okay. Okay, here. This is the basically, yeah, these 2 slides, I think. These 2 slides are what number is this? I don't have page number for this. Okay, that's kind of unacceptable. Usually my slide has, maybe it's not, what do you call it? Follow up based on different templates that I use. Okay, theoretical framework. You said that. Some of you already answered that Google form. And yes, it's actually how your study is grounded by theory. Okay, you want to see the structure or the map. Remember, we said theory as a map, but now the map based on your study, or a structure. Here Eisenhower said nicely, a structure that guides research by relying on formal theory or theories, okay, constructed by using an established coherent explanation on certain phenomena and relationships. So basically, in that theory itself, there's the construct and variables and stuff. So how things relate to each other, are they related? Like, this one informed this one, or, are they integrated, or there's another one here, and also 2 components, but, they are actually, what do you call it, interacting with each other. So that's theoretical framework. And here is actually what you want to write, especially chapter 1. Okay, and later what you want to explain in your chapter 2. You use interrelated concepts, okay, but not necessarily well worked out. Means some people still verify it, some people argue about it, because this theory might, work in in a country with more stable connection, internet infrastructure, but not in rural area, or not in rural countries, for example, countries with still problems for internet, okay. A theoretical framework guides your research, determining what things you will measure and what statistical relationships. This is actually usually with the paradigm, if you go with the post-positivist, right? When you talk about statistical relationship, or how things are, how things related just now. Like, remember Bachman? They have two. When they said communicative, they have two people now, two brain. First, what's going on in one people's brain, and then now there should be another one, because we want to say that this is communication. So what's going on in people's B, and they should relate because they need to communicate. There should be interaction. So two brains are interacting with each other. Okay. In deductive means we keep on testing, we keep on improving, and in different contexts we might use different types of combination of theories. Okay. Yes, it derived from existing theory or theories. So this one, I'm gonna skip because this is basically chapter 1. We did that. Discard. So basically here, we did that. Oh yeah, this one again. This one is a little bit good, how you want to do this. Actually, I should bring this slide here, because here it's actually related to theoretical framework, because how you want to make sure things work. The theory must be appropriate, the theory or theories, and you can interpret them logically. It makes sense because this one informed this theory, and they are related in somehow, in some manner, in this context, in B40 context, for example, or in SJKT, for example. So they are related. So yes, we combine these theories. There's a need to the two theories should be integrated. Okay, well understood. Yes, when it's logically interpreted, people should understand it well. And of course, align with your research questions and purpose. And here is when I need to skip, but I just go one round just so that you can see. This is how, the circle. So it should be, you go again and again, repeat, repeat. And action research, you have another part, like, you go out and verify, and then add more, okay? Add more strategies, and that's an action research cycle. You familiar, okay? And this is how they based on, this is another kind of historical, or based on age development, okay? How people learn. And this is the infamous self-determination theory and how it moves. So they said that it's actually a continuum from not motivated to having, this one extrinsic, something is intriguing externally. When they have something inside, then when they want to do it, it comes within themselves, then it's intrinsic. Okay. This is another way of the Vygotsky, the famous ZOPD. So they said that, okay, it's actually a zone where student teachers enter, first guided, cannot do by themselves, then can do slowly with the guidance when they enter this zone of proximal development. And when they can do or develop independently, then that's when they actually good to go. This is parenting. They make it in quadrant. So you'll see different style of people depicting theories, but it doesn't have to be in form of diagram. But if it can be, it's good to actually to see how things are situated. And it's easy for you to explain too in your writing, because whatever you have there in the diagram, why this arrow, why there's two circles and stuff, you have to explain in writing. Not just, okay, there you go, that's my theory, and that's two theories, and you don't even explain in terms of writing, okay, how things are. And these are the elements. Within this, that's I told you, right? Within this, there's one topical knowledge or language knowledge. So now dalam tu pun ada. Within that, within that variable, there's more variable. So maybe you just want to focus on grammatical knowledge. Okay, this is if you're doing what do you call the language. Okay, I think now this is assessment and ZPD, and also Desi and Ryan. I think this is from a student work. I don't want to tell what yet because you know it's still ongoing, but I think this is really cool. Combination of integrated theory. Here, the combined assessment part means there should be feedback and mediation. Teacher should give feedback. Teacher should help, provide mediation, and then based on that, that's actually when you say that when you give feedback and mediation, it's actually you guide using the zone of proximal development, and at the end, intrinsic motivation will be triggered. If there's no guidance, there's no feedback, don't assume people will just feel like motivated. So that's what this diagram is telling us. Okay. Okay, this is, I think, one of the organizational theory that I can, make sense with. Elements of classical theories, it's individual, it's work group, it's orientation, and all of this you have to explain and you have to relate to your research question if you are using this new classical organization theory. So if you are using the theory of leadership, the same thing. What's going on in the transformation leadership? Maybe it's not, it's not it's not diagram, as a figure, but you can tell it in terms of words, in terms of explanation. If you can explain it well, means you really understand it, and you definitely your reader can understand it. Okay, so that's theoretical framework, and this is conceptual framework. The second part, that's that I also ask. And in some literature, they kind of combine theoretical and conceptual. Okay, I understand that too, because what informs conceptual is the theory. Okay, some people just say conceptual theory, and that's actually the theory and also the conceptual framework. Some people combine. I've seen it in hiring article too, But again, when you write your thesis, try to separate, because examiners might not be able to digest the fact that you are just combining them. You have to show the distinction, okay? How you inform your conceptual framework from the theories, okay? So what is conceptual framework? Anybody? I check. I'll check your Google form definitely. I'm not going to show it to you yet because some of you might not submit it yet. So I don't want you just to, to make you feel stressful about it. Don't worry. You can submit it later after class or tonight. But I need to see what is it. If everybody submit and well, I think I can use those as a guidance for me how you are with your own studies. Okay, so conceptual framework is now you have that from the established or from the scholar perspective, from the theory. Now you want to inform your own study, the variables, your own variable, how they are related. So here it says, it's an analytical tool. When people look at it, people understand. Okay, A actually goes with B. Okay, and it's related both ways because there's two double-headed arrow. Okay, and in the context of very maybe minority context or SGKT or even in what do you call in the rural or in the suburban. Okay, different contexts. So you have to be. It will definitely tell you. If possible, if it's possible to be as specific as possible, is good. It's a group of concepts broadly defined and systematically organized. Basically, still it's a map, like theory, but now it's actually your own variables, okay, to make distinctions, to organize. That's why it's good to have in terms of a figure. But sometimes you don't have to have figures if it's not necessary to explain it. Not everything can be explained with arrows and bullets and stuff. Okay, but if it can, it's good. People love infographic. Okay, it's easier to understand. Picture worth 1,000 words. Usually expressed abstractly through word models. A conceptual framework is a conceptual basis, such as communication theory and general system theory. So this is actually how to conceptualize all these theories available. Okay, here, okay, this is examples. Miles and Huberman, I like it. This quote, it says a conceptual framework is actually, it can be a visual product or a written product, means it can be in the figure form or in terms of, textual form. Explains either graphically or in narrative form the main things to be studied. Main things. So basically these are the key variables, key factors, concepts, variables, and how the relationship works, how they relate to each other. Okay, so that's what Huberman say, and some of them that I think, it's simpler conceptual framework, but it actually kind of tell the story. See here the arrows, mostly feedback and stuff. So these are actually for my study. Factors affecting Domino's customer satisfaction. Pizza taste, service speed, waiter courtesy. These are all the factors. You will make sure definitely to make sure customer satisfaction. So what about Food Panda? Food Panda, what else? Okay, it can be similar, okay? And this one, giraffe snack. It's habitat. Okay, where is it? Is it in the zoo? Is it like, where the trees are long? Is it like, if in the zoo? Of course, there are trees, but I know most of the time they are well fed, okay? But if in the savannah or in the Serengeti, are they different, So where? How? Actually, is it the length of the tree will definitely ensure the, yes. Kabaya is chatting relationships among key variables. Yes, it is. It is. Okay, so this one, this one also, what do you call it, a fact. That's why it's like independent variable. Okay, if this is mostly quantitative, we can see here. Oh, this is, I think this one can be related to Madam Nalini. Madam Nalini is doing the PLC, right? Maybe professional development activities. I don't know whether it's, you can term it in terms of PLC. So, my goodness. Are you looking? Yeah, it's not expanding well. My, it's hiding this down here. Everything. Okay. So yeah, they say that, okay, professional development model. Okay, this is actually more qualitative, if I can tell, because there's no like what effect, what is just the relationship. Okay, because when you want to train teachers, these are the things that you have to ensure, and at the end you can come up with a professional development model. So maybe this is not for Madam Nalini, maybe it's not in-service training, maybe the professional development that the teacher receives itself, whether how they affect PLC and stuff. Okay. This again, dehydration technology in the school curriculum and proper application. This is implementation. Okay, so they are telling, okay, this is the all the independent variable. These are the dependent variable. They want to come up with a manual or a module. I think how food dehydration technology can be incorporated in the school curriculum. So how to actually improve curriculum. This is curriculum development. Those who are involved in the pusat perkembangan curriculum might this kind of conceptual theory might be useful. Nowadays they make it more sophisticated and stuff. So yeah, it's really awesome. Another conceptual theory, this one like learning from progress. I think no, this is actually the the thing that I want to focus on. Okay, this is actually the goal, reality, obstacle, will, way forward. They call it GROW model. GROW model is based on all this cycle. First, you have to have concrete experience, you have to make reflection and observation, then you start making abstract conceptualization, and that's where you attain your goal, and keep on doing experimentation, improve, and repeat. Okay, and here they said that, okay, these are the coaching competencies. I think this still relate to PLC, or somebody who's doing transformational leadership, see whether this framework works, because this is learning from experience through executive coaching. So that's a transformational leader, coach people. Okay, do they listen? Do they question? Do they trust? Do they, are they being there to listen? Are they aware? Do they communicate? Okay, and these are the theoretical basis of those are the scholars. So basically, down here is actually the theoretical framework that, actually inform this conceptual framework. Kolb, experiential learners, Roberts and Jarrett, Whitmore, Galway, it's always there to, you can always make sense of it if you are you clear what what is actually transformational leadership, the components under it. Okay, yeah, this one simple, this is real, this is project paper, so it's good. Classrooms climates and students engagement, and under classroom climates they are all these three, under these three. So now they want to see students engagement. This is correlation, or maybe regression too, I'm not mistaken. Okay, at the end, the method. So here they want to see students engagement based on the classroom climates, and under classroom climates, this person check, okay, there's autonomy, relatedness, and competence. I think this is also a part of Desi and Ryan, the self-determination theory. Ni apa? Ketidakhadiran pelajar tingkatan 4 di negeri Perlis. Means, if Jumin, are you here? Check participant. Yes, Jumin here. Okay. Basically, Jumin, this is the factors of truancy. Truancy means absenteeism among Form 4 students in Perlis. Perlis is one of the states in Malaysia. So the factors could be yourself, diri sendiri, persekitaran, the environment or the climate, teachers, parents, and peers, peer pressure. In Perlis here, they talk, here is a state where, it's more, it's like rural state, the poorest state in Malaysia, and most students find, I don't know, still doing it, find satisfaction. Instead of going to school, they better go to work. They earn money. Go to school, you won't earn money, because parents say, okay, let's go and, go fish, because it's close to the coast, or to the ocean. So let's go, be a fisherman, bunk school, no problem. Okay, so those are the things. And this one, I think my student, she's a counselor, and she wants to, and some of the factors also, this one, based on Gentina and demography. This one, I don't say this is right, but they're trying to make sure it's like, it's either this, actually based on Gentina and demography. So be careful about the arrow, the diagram that you want to draw. Sometimes you don't have to have this. You just have to make sure that, things are there in your write-up. But if you want to make sure, okay, factor, and then we want to see whether things are different based on girls or boys, do the t-test, okay, or demographic. This one, I think, remember, she said doing rural close to the coast, basically fisherman village, and then suburban, and then urban. Basically, Kangar lah. Kangar is the capital. Okay, so that's what she come up with, and she relates this to counseling theories, and to the psychosocial development and stuff. This is another great distinction between theoretical framework and conceptual framework. Okay, so this one by Grant and Osanlu. Here, This is more like feminism, if you can notice, educational equity theory, and they use this Marx theory and Brookover. I think these are feminism theory. Okay, and here they say that, okay, oh no, sorry, that's not feminism. This is basically the equity, means, you know, you have to make sure that everybody gets the same opportunity to study and stuff, because here it says that you have to screen, you have to diagnose students, you monitor their progress and stuff. Okay. And then key theoretical principles, they come up with this. So all this they will find in their literature, use these keywords. This one, this is a feminist theory. Okay, and based on this theory, these are combinations of theories: 1949, 1963, 2004. See the historical development there, and they combine it, okay, into one. And how they relate it, definitely they have to explain. Okay, so basically you got a house, the big one, and then within that, what's in it? Where's the kitchen? Where's basically, that's the analogy of it. Okay, women's position in society, gender discrimination, these are all the variables, and within the variables there are sub constructs. What inform women's position in society? And if this is a survey, or what do you call not survey, an instrument, if you want to create a survey, a survey, or an instrument, questionnaire, these are actually all the questions that you have to ask within women's position in society. Okay, what affect the position? Institutional factors, political factors. Man wants to be leader all the time, for example. I'm not a feminist, but yeah, it could, most of the time it's all about political pressure. Social factors, how women are being objectified, or women are being portrayed. I don't want to say objectify, and all this discrimination that they somehow come up with based on the feminist theory. And all the research questions definitely relate to this conceptual framework. So there are more. This is the Osanlu, understanding, selecting, and integrating a theoretical framework in dissertation research. You have this full article, if I'm not mistaken. And then this one, conceptual framework, is really the source. Okay, the rest are actually how I actually do it. Remember my study, my FRGS study, still ongoing there. Okay, I just want to show you one here. Remember the postgraduate study? This is kind of small, but if you open it in your PowerPoint, I think you see them clearly. So all these variables here are actually informing well-being and actually informing on-time completion. But before that, people just look at this, maybe research knowledge, academic writing, all this without the red border there. How do you make sure to show, okay, this one will definitely predict on time, GOT. You're familiar with GOT, right? If everybody doing HLP, I think that's GOT is really a key key thing in Malaysia. So the red ones are actually the one that I found, something that people don't really study yet, but it's important. Well-being, definitely. You have to make sure people are not stressful, people are not exhausted, people are not sick, to conduct their own postgraduate study and in order to do on-time completion. So there's the personality of student need to be considered, and program admission requirement, because what's their English requirement? What's the English requirement of that? Do they accept anybody with English, especially if you are studying in the English medium environment with of English as an official language? If you are accepting those whose English is not official, more like foreign language. So what is the requirement? MUAT, English placement test. What is your at least bachelor degree? Do you have any specific program? But later in my study, I noticed that program admission requirement is not that strong, because basically university nowadays will kind of tolerate to relax that requirement with the COVID and stuff, you know, so they kind of relax this requirement, or they can accept conditional, especially if this research, this university is a private university, or, you know, more like into the commercialization. Okay. Okay, this one I'm not gonna push because you already get the idea now so far. So how and everything, we did that. And I saw that you explain it in your Google form. So I think we are on good track, because it just doesn't make sense to actually, you know, lecture all go this, you did this, books, periodical. Some people don't like books, you know, but I celebrate anything as long as the book is recent, and if it's not recent too, it's still good. It's a good book. People still referring to Creswell for research design. You know, when we don't talk about method, it always refer to Creswell book, your textbooks. Okay, so there's no such thing of a bad book or good book, but just have to make sure of the quality. Who's the publisher to matters. Okay, people don't like unpublished work or doctoral dissertation in Malaysia. Okay, that's what I know. This is doctoral dissertation. You can go get any piece of work, you know, in the library, but they're not quality. So, you know, but don't worry. If you have good suggestions, good, what I call it, justification why you're using them, then argue. Okay. They want to see whether you can argue or you can defend. That's why you call it proposal defend or viva voce. Okay. Research, this one, Harzing, we look at that first thing. Seminar articles may date it back to mid to early 20th century or earlier, because this one, you say, oh, 1863 is okay, because these are the main, the key theories, the founding father, basically, you know, so it's okay to be in the 80s, but you have to support with empirical findings. You want to have at least the last 5 years, okay? Because then you're going to be in big trouble. This is how I organize some of the thing. Okay, you see here the reading list, different style. Okay, this is based on the method, and then you know, Newman come up with how to do this. This is organize it. Teen pregnancy sexually, how they do this, and then you know, how they come up with the way you organize it in your write up. Different style, main parts. Okay. Example of good and bad. I forgot to. Yeah. Example of good and bad. It's not meant to be seen during the WebEx session. So it's also in Newman. So check Newman. Where is it? There's no, there you go. It's hidden. Page 143, the textbook. You have this textbook. We'll see here. What is the difference? You can tell. This is one of the literature review, and they actually offer some services very bad, but I know I like the way they show it, you know, the process. This is like, you know, let us do your literature review, pay us, basically. Okay, but they kind of like tell you first, basically they are teaching you, okay, it's hard, so let us help you. And you have to pay us. The synthesis of the problem, this is the main thing. Synthesis. You have all these articles. It's not about regurgitating. Regurgitating means, you know, you keep repeating what's on there. Some even just grab it and paste it. No, you have to make sure they blend, and which part is important. Not everything is important, and not what's published out there is good. So just select, use your judgment, and use your, what you call it, discretion. Again, this is the what's known. This is how you synthesize. This one, psychology. See, one study of dog. Okay, they show study how things she synthesized. Okay, so but this is based on the findings later. Sorry, the problem. This is synthesis of the problem. Again, okay, the synthesis, the definition, the purpose, and then how things are. It's all the process. Okay. Ethical, practical behavior. Do not make assumptions. Make sure you validate. Okay. You have to explore topics. People say that literature review happens from the the moment you start your study, or before you start your study, because you want to enter the program, you have to have some proposal, right? So you have to do your literature review all back, early. And then, it continues till the end, even though you complete, you still keep working on. So reading, learning is ongoing. Chronological manner, begin with seminal scholarship. Seminal, we talk about the founding, who's actually starting this, who started this idea or this concept. Begin with the problem of practice, how can it help community? If I do this, students or other people can help, improve this. Okay, so again, back to the significance. What else? People want to be fast. They just want to write and get it done. It's okay, it's good if you can keep on revising. There's no way like you can keep on, here you go. I can use my research method punya proposal, my proposal for research method during the project paper. Most of the time you keep on refining. Don't be surprised that you might change totally when you go to your project paper time, because sometimes okay, aha moment is there. Okay. This is Bailey. I think I give this article for you. They give the literature review scoring rubric. I also give my own rubric. I already got IP for that for chapter 1. Remember, I give 2 rubrics, one chapter 1. Each of the topic we have scoring rubric. What are the elements, detail, analytical criteria, and then now people are doing for literature review. They have to make sure, okay, so your literature has to be good coverage. How you actually choose your article, the synthesis should be there. See the synthesis, the blue one is really the length is small. It's not meant for you to read through. I'm just going to go through so that you keep on aware of this, but check Boot and Bailey article. I already shared also on WhatsApp, also on Online Learning. See, they focus on synthesis a lot. Okay. Rhetoric means, it has to be well written. It's not like, first, A and B say this, B and C say this, D and B say this. It's just like, it's so boring. You have to be able to tell story. First, when you first writing is okay. That's why we do reading list. You want to see, okay, this one say what, this one say that. So bigger picture, what do we see? So that's the purpose of reading list. And so don't just copy your reading list into your literature. That's what best advice that I have. Okay, 11:40, 1 hour juga lah, still doing this. But I think that's a good place to stop, and hopefully it will help you with your literature review, because next week is the due date. And for the methodology, I don't really want to emphasize, because methodology really depends on what you're doing. And most of the time, if you're doing your literature review right, you already know what's going on with the methodology. You can definitely comment on your methodology. You'll see how many samples do they use. If you're doing all this, you are going to research teachers, you'll see how many people they use for statistical analysis or quantitative study. 30, usually people don't go with 30. People will go 100 and above. So when you write, you want to propose, we propose 100 teachers in Kuliah Bandar Baru, okay, or in Kuala Mudayan. Okay, how are you going to find the teachers? Snowballing. You ask people, you have your community, that's not networking sampling. Or you do stratify, you go to JPN. We're going to talk more about how to conduct sampling, but for the article review, you can do the methodology without having gone the methodology yet. Okay, because the most important thing is you understand the problem and how things actually inform your study and how they write. That's the purpose of article review, to see how people write, so that how can you also replicate or adopt and adapt. Okay. I'll stop here. I'll check. I'm gonna go. If you can, we can leave now. Okay, we're good. If you need to leave, please leave, feel free. I'm just gonna, add you guys manually for those who haven't. Everybody's here. I'm always happy. You guys are always here. Some of you didn't manage to. If you want to scan. If not, then I'll add you manually. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you on WhatsApp as usual. Have a good day. Assalamualaikum. Thank you, Kak Maya.
Doctor.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you. Okay, Nisha, the DJ.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you, Medunila.